as headlines, it never gets retracted sufficiently.
Like the Sandinistas, the Nicaraguan government was accused, front page, New York Times, of an atrocity, a massacre of 200 Mosquito Indians. Now, in fact, the people who go up there and see, the American missionaries, the Moravian Church, journalists, television crews, and hundreds and hundreds of people have traveled.
Recent candidates, yet Barack Obama actually sing "We Are City on a Hill," as well as Sarah Palin. Ronald Reagan said it in his inaugural address.
I've spoken of a shining city all my political life, but I don't know if I ever quite communicated what I saw when I said it. But in my
looking, they find the Sandinistas, it is a sensitivity, the Mosquito Indians, who have a different ethnic background. They're working as hard as they can to educate them, help them organize, and respond to them, make them feel part of the revolution. There's no question of killing 200 of them and alienating the whole mass. The New York Times retracted that headline. They ran it actually for a couple of days discussing it. 3 weeks.
In my mind, it was a tall, proud city, built on rocks stronger than oceans, windswept, God-blessed, and teeming with people of all kinds, living in harmony and peace.
We're a city on a hill, and so our mission is to democratize the rest of the world.
Later they retracted, but on page 9, a little thing saying neither the Moravian Church nor Amnesty International have been able to confirm that any massacre whatsoever occurred, much less who had anything to do with it. They didn't put it on the front page saying,
got the best system possible, and basically people ought to pay attention to us because we know.
The idea of a particular state cast as savior of the world would be taken to new heights in the United States, but it wasn't an American invention. The savior motif was used as a justification for virtual.
we screwed up again, we bought another CIA disinformation thing and gave you some bad information, folks. In truth, no massacre occurred. Well, they put that on the inner page. It makes good press. Even the New York Times has this touch of yellow journalism. If it's a good sensational story and they've got it from some source in the government, you know, run it. And
with every imperial intervention during the colonial era. French leaders spoke of a civilizing mission in their new colonies.
you can retract it later, and then you can say, well, we retracted it, you know, we kept our spirit clean.
Are these media people shameless? I would think they would get tired of being burned by these CIA disinformation stories. For instance, we've seen a lot about the Hitler diaries, where there were these fake diaries, and the people in Stern magazine that published those were forced to quit.
British leaders spoke of bringing progress in civilized government to India. Imperial Japan spoke of unleashing an earthly paradise in Asia. while the Third Reich dreamt of a worldwide utopia. A decade before World War I,
You never see anything like that over in America when you have similar disinformation stories. Isn't there any integrity in American journalism, or shame at least?
You've got to understand that the system of government supposedly guarantees the right to a free press. You can publish what you want to publish.
Twain stated that my kind of loyalty was loyalty to one's country, not to its institutions or its office holders. Decades later, George Orwell came to a similar conclusion, that patriotism is a devotion to a certain place and people, contrary to nationalism, which is inseparable.
It doesn't guarantee that it will be unbiased, what you publish. The people who own the New York Times, who own the Washington Post, have their own political views, and they have the right to publish whatever they want. Katharine Graham, you recall, a year and a half ago in a press conference said her editors would support the national security interests. Well, national security is
from lust for power. This concept of patriotism remains elusive.
Once the war against Saddam begins, we expect every American to support our military, and if they can't do that, to shut up.
Equating super patriotism with militarism, military and
it's a euphemism for the CIA. Anytime you read national security interests, you mean CIA interests. And she knows this. And she confirmed that's the bias of her paper. This Brinkley thing, he knows better. I mean, if you really sat down with him and
endeavor, military achievements, military struggles and victories, that's all supposedly a special manifestation of super patriotism. And I argue that a real patriot wants something different for his country. He wants social justice, he wants peace and stability, he wants fairness, he wants an end to
and said, hey, what was this? But he's expressing a conservative twitch. Let's go kick ass on the communist twitch. Take this thing, the disinformation thing, it fascinates me because I was inside. I once had a staff that was cranking out articles and they would come across my desk, to initial off on them.
racism and sexism. He takes pride in his country's ability at social betterment rather than his country's ability to invade and knock around other countries. A real patriot feels an attachment to his country, but not at the expense of other countries. He or she may feel a special attachment
on the
Angolan thing and things relating, Southern Africa and the writing and how, and then you watch the news and see Patrick Moynihan giving a speech at the United Nations and it's stuff you signed off on a couple of days before. And so, he didn't run it exactly the way we intended, but he got, the gist of it right. Remember I forget the date, but we...
to the history of his own country. He values the accomplishments of his country, like the abolition of slavery, emergence of collective bargaining, and the rights of working people for a better life, the gains made by women.
To dig it out, in the mid-50s, a Russian agent, East German agent, went into West Germany and killed a businessman. And then later he defected and he took the police to a canal and showed them where he dumped the weapon. The weapon was a little gun that would fire a mist.
Being able to get into public life. These are the kind of things that the real patriot would value.
In October 2001, George W. Bush signed into law what civil libertarians characterize as an all-out assault .
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Very